Who doesn't love pizza? Everyone loves a good slice. So today we have a very special recipe that will give you something to feel good about instead of guilty. Today's recipe is a special, healthy pizza. I'm talking super healthy because it has a very secret ingredient, and I'm talking about cauliflower. That's right, you heard me right. This pizza is made, the base of it at least, is made out of cauliflower. And the best thing is that it tastes really good, and it's much, much less calories. It's something that you don't have to feel bad about indulging with. So this pizza recipe, it's a little bit of a process, but I've seen real pizza being made, and that is also a process, you know, with the kneading and all of that stuff. So if you just have a little bit of patience and willing to put in the prep work, this pizza is an awesome recipe that you can enjoy. So we're gonna start off prepping the cauliflower. And you wanna find one that's a really big one from the supermarket. Snap off the greens, because what we're really interested in for this recipe is the florets. Cut off the entire base of the cauliflower. So I'm just gonna give that a big chop. When we look at the cauliflower, you see all the stems. So we're gonna kinda cut out this middle part so we get those nice heads of the cauliflower. And notice that we're kinda leaving this center tree part. Kind of looks like a tree, and we're not going to use this part in the cauliflower. It's really hard, and we want the soft part of the heads. So once you have the heads of your cauliflower, you can toss them into a strainer so we can give them a good rinse. We have our washed cauliflower. We're going to use this food processor to really transform this cauliflower into what's going to be the dough. So we're going to take these florets and we're just going to make them into a little bit smaller pieces so that they fit into the food processor. And this is going to rice the cauliflower. So we're going to turn it on. So you can see that as you're adding in the cauliflower, it's starting to become small little pieces. Once you've grinded up those few florets, just working a few florets at a time, you're going to stop the food processor, take it off from the base, carefully take out the blade, scrape all of this into a large microwavable bowl. And you really want to make sure it's a big bowl because all of this cauliflower is going to add up pretty fast. Finish transferring it into the bowl. You're just going to keep doing that. So you're going to grind a little bit, then transfer to the bowl. Grind, transfer, until you finish the whole cauliflower. So now you should have a really nice big full bowl of riced cauliflower, and you can see the texture is very, very fine. So we're gonna just need to grab this big bowl and microwave it. So microwave for about 5 minutes if you're doing it for one cauliflower. Okay, so the cauliflower is out of the microwave, and just a warning, it smells like very heavy cauliflower. So just ignore the smell because soon it will be replaced by the delicious smell of pizza. I'm just gonna take a spoon, and the dish is really hot right now, so be careful. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a clean tea towel, and you're just gonna wanna put it on top of a bowl. You're gonna grab a spatula or a spoon, and you're just gonna spoon cauliflower onto the tea towel. So you're gonna make a nice little mound of cauliflower. Again, we're working a little bit at a time. And then you're gonna gather the sides of the tea towel on this burning, steaming cauliflower. I recommend grabbing some oven gloves because it's really hot here. And now you're gonna start squeezing the liquid out. Isn't this crazy? The cauliflower is like crying, basically. So you're gonna squeeze all the liquid out. And this is the secret sauce. The more dry you can make it, the better the pizza's gonna be. So squeeze all of the cauliflower out. Okay, so we squeezed out all the water. You're gonna grab another big bowl and you're gonna just unwrap the tea towel. This is very cool because if you look at the cauliflower, it's clumped, like it's totally clumping together. It doesn't even look like cauliflower anymore. Empty all of that into a bowl. Now we're just gonna add the extra ingredients to give it some really nice flavor. So I'm gonna add some basil, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. I like to add some garlic paste. Now we have 3 really important ingredients that are just gonna really help this bind together even stronger. 2 pieces Laughing Cow light cheese. You can use regular cream cheese if you want. This would be around 4 tablespoons of regular cream cheese. You're gonna add in 2 whole eggs. And then final ingredient is we're going to take some sliced almonds. So just gonna grind this up. So this is a little secret here. If you wanted, you could buy almond flour from the grocery store, but all that is really ground up almonds. So I wanna show you that you don't need to buy anything special. You can just use regular almonds. So right here, we just made almond flour. So you're just gonna add in about a cup of this. Doesn't have to be very exact, and I promise you won't even know there's almonds in it. So all the ingredients are in, and we're just gonna give this bowl a really nice mix. And at this point, it's really going to start looking like dough. You got a little bit of deltoid action in there while you're doing the mixing. So I have here a pan, and I've put some parchment paper on top. I do not recommend foil because this really, really sticks. So you're gonna grab this big bowl with all of this cauliflower flour, and you're just gonna plop it on to your parchment paper. Now is the fun part. You're just gonna start spreading it out, making your pizza crust. So the key here is to make it really, really thin, 1/4 inch thick, but you don't want to see that parchment paper poking out from underneath. Now we're gonna just bake this for about 40 minutes or so until it's really nice and golden brown. So the cauliflower crust is out of the oven, and check out how it looks. It's fairly delicate, but you can see the reverse side of it. Kind of like a thin crust pizza it's become. So you want to make sure it has enough time to bake, around 40 or 45 minutes depending on the thickness of the crust. And now is the fun part. Now is the time for the toppings. So I'm going to start with some tomato sauce. So you can definitely use store-bought here, but if you are using store-bought, I want you to be careful because tomato sauce is a prime location for people to hide sugar in. So watch out for that. There's no reason why you can't just grind up your own at home, and that's much better to use than a store-bought tomato sauce that has a lot of sugar in it. So you went through all this effort to make the cauliflower pizza, why add the sugar in the sauce? Now I just have some grated cheese. So I'm using this Allegro 4% cheese, but you can use any cheese that you like. So you're just gonna take this, and obviously the magic happens when you sprinkle it all over. And of course, at this point, you can feel free to add any toppings. You can add any spices, peppers. I'm just gonna put on some olives. I like olive pizza. Final thing, I just have some chopped chicken breast that I'm just gonna put on there. This is just gonna go back in the oven for another 7 minutes just to melt the cheese, and then it's done. Now it's starting to smell like delicious pizza instead of stinky cauliflowers. And it looks great, it smells great, it's melty, it's cheesy, it's a real pizza, believe me. That is good pizza. So comment below, let us know what other episodes you would like us to cover, and if you're ready to get started with your healthy lifestyle, which includes having fun, exciting dishes like this, head on over to amanahfitness.com where you can download my free ebook. I'm gonna eat some pizza now. Until the next episode, Assalamu alaikum. Squeezing the cauliflower out. And I'm gonna put on oven gloves, it's really hot. I'm actually gonna need more sauce. So I'll lift up, actually, it's breaking. End up with a delicious pizza. Nobody believes pepper fell off.